What's up guys, my name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's Minecraft video, what I'm going to be showing you is how to use a controller, such as this one, which is the Xbox 360 pad, on PC on Minecraft. Now there's actually multiple ways that you can do this. This is going to be for the Java edition, and then I'm going to be discussing a different method which you can use at the end, which is actually for a different version of the game. But this is for Java, so we'll be focusing on the mod side of things and using a controller mod to actually enable controller support. So let's get into it. So we're going to be using a mod which is programmed to actually allow controller support in the Java version of the game. Now the other method which I mentioned in the intro is to use Minecraft Windows 10 Edition. So what you would do is, if you have Minecraft Windows 10 Edition, you can just launch the Minecraft app, which is from the Windows 10 store. I own this. You have to own Java since the beta edition to get a key for free for this. If you didn't, you'll have to buy it. But basically, as far as I'm concerned, or I'm aware, there is some form of controller support in the Bedrock Edition, which is the Windows 10 Edition. But like I said, we're not going to be covering that edition today. So just after this small little preview, I am going to jump into the Java edition and show you the method which we're doing in this video. But the Bedrock edition for Windows 10 has some form of controller support. It's meant to be linked in some way to the Xbox 360 and Xbox One versions, so there should still be at least some Xbox One controller support for the Bedrock edition on PC, because both of the editions through console and PC are basically the same game. It's just mostly a port. Now, as you can see, just as a quick demonstration, we are on the Bedrock Edition, and this is an Xbox 360 pad, which you can see has a green light here, meaning that it's been connected to player 1. And you'll see if I move the stick here, which I'm just going to show you on the camera as a preview, it does actually move the buttons, so it switches to the different buttons. So if I press play, and then I go on one of these worlds and press A, then it will actually go on the world. And then I'm quickly going to show you that the controls do work. This first method for Bedrock could be a solution for you guys who are coming from console and want to play on PC and emulate the same experience and still use the gamepad. I would recommend not jumping straight into Java edition, because there's no controller support in Java without the mod, which I'm going to show you in a few moments. So as you can see, we're actually in the world here, and this world has one of the data packs in it, because I made a data packs video. So you can see we do have this huge Pacific Rim robot. We're in creative mode right now, and we're going to take the HUD off, and as you can see now, there's some controls on the screen. So it shows us the left trigger is to eat, the bottom button on the D-pad is to drop items, and if we press these front triggers, which are here, they do actually scroll through all of the items. And if we press Y, it brings up the creative menu, and then we can use the different thumbsticks to go through everything. So this is how it works on the PC version. This is the Bedrock version though, and it has controller support built into it. So I'd recommend, if you are looking to buy the game and you haven't bought it yet, or if you've owned the Java edition since the beta, then go get your free key for Windows 10 on the Mojang website, or go buy the Xbox Windows 10 Bedrock version, because it's basically the same as Xbox One and it already has controller support in it, and it's actually really good to play. Unfortunately, I don't play this version just because it's not moddable. You can only use data packs, so I prefer the Java one, but this has controller support built in, so that's the first method. So now that we've covered Bedrock, let's jump into the trickier side of things with the Java edition, which is the main point of this tutorial. So first of all, for the Java edition, this is actually a mod for the Fabric ModLoader. So I do have a video below which you should check out on how to install Fabric. I'll link the video in the description and the comments below, because I've already done a video on how to install the Fabric ModLoader, so check that out before you continue this video if you don't know how to install Fabric, because that's super important, because you need the Fabric API and the Fabric ModLoader, which you can get from the download link here and get from the installer. You need both of these things for Minecraft 1.16.1 to get the controller mod to work. So I will still link the downloads for both of these if you want to do it manually, but I'll also link the tutorial on how to actually install them both in the description too, so you can check out that video first. Now when you've done that, we need to go to the Minecraft Curse Mods website, and there'll be a mod which I've covered last time. I think I did this for 1.14 or 1.15 last time, but it's the LambdaControls mod, which has been updated a little bit since then. since I last covered it, and it's basically just a mod for Fabric which adds better controls and it adds controller support. So basically this allows you to use controller support in the game and experimental touchscreen support, and you'll see there's a lot of different settings which you can customize, different mouse speeds and rotation speeds, and it gives controller support, button coding, different keyboard controls. There's button indicators like in Bedrock Edition, so it shows you which buttons to press to do which action, which is really useful, so it kind of tries to simulate those Bedrock features. Fast block placing, support with the roughly enough items, which is on the inventory viewer, so that's something which I really like, and a lot more. So it's a really great mod, and these are currently the only supported controllers, so it's basically most of the popular ones, so you shouldn't have any issues whatsoever with getting controllers to work. So firstly we have the DualShock controllers, which are the PlayStation ones. I think these are PlayStation 4. Maybe this will support PS5 controllers in the future, but I'll probably have done a new video by then. But these are the PS4 DualShock controllers that it supports, which I think are wireless as well as wired, and then they support Xbox controllers, which are Xbox 360 and Xbox One, because my controller works in that's 360, and since they have DualShock support, I'm pretty sure Xbox One will just be supported anyway, so I'm pretty sure both of those work. And then you can use Switch Pro controllers, joysticks, and a whole lot of other stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and download this mod, okay? And it's for 1.16.1 right now, and I already have Fabric in the Fabric API, so I don't have to worry about that. So you guys should have watched that tutorial on how to install those first, so that you have those to install this, because I just want to give you a trial and a preview of everything in the mod. So I'm going to right click and cut this mod file out of my downloads folder where I've downloaded it, and I'm going to go to my Minecraft folder and jump into my mods folder somewhere down here, and I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to right click and I'm going to paste this LambdaControls mod in. Now you'll see I have a few other 1.15 mods down here, which are for Minecraft 1.15 because I play Skyblock on 1.15, so I am actually just going to remove these mods from the folder just for now, just so I have them in a different place, because they won't work for 1.16 and they might crash my game. So if you have any older mods, just put them in a different folder so they don't get activated. And then somewhere in here I have the Fabric API for 1.16, which is what you should have already installed, and I'm going to paste that in there as well. So now we have the LambdaControls mod. I'm going to go ahead and launch the Minecraft launcher and open up the Fabric mod and jump into game. I'll show you how to set everything up, and I'll kind of run you through the controls and how to configure everything, but for the most part it's pretty straightforward. So I'm going to select my Fabric Loader 1.16.1 and launch this up, and then that will activate any Fabric mods that we've got in our folder. So you saw that I only had the Fabric API and the LambdaControls, which is the controller mod. They were the only two mods I had left in my main mods folder, so they're the only mods that should activate, so everything should load fine. Remember, if it crashes, make sure you don't have any old mods still in your folder, because they'll crash the game. Make sure you have the right version of Fabric API which is updated, and you're using the Fabric Loader of the newest version profile on your Minecraft launcher, and everything should mostly be fine. So make sure you do all those things and you shouldn't have any crashes or problems. Okay, so we're going to jump into Minecraft. So I'm going to jump into a random map. We'll just join this parkour map which I have currently running. Okay, so what's interesting now, as you can see, is my controller is here, so I'm just going to move some sticks on the controller, so forward and backwards will actually work now in game, and the side buttons will actually spin the camera. So you can see now that there's actually controller support and it's fully working. This is actually really nice controller support, let me say, because the original version of this mod, when they first made it, I think for 1.15, when this mod was rather new, was not good at all. And also, one thing about the sticks is when you turned left and right, your character's crosshair would just keep spinning. So it was really badly made, but right now they've updated it and it's actually super awesome. Now, to know that it works, basically you'll be greeted with this whole thing where it shows a few buttons on the bottom left. So one button is for inventory, which is Y, so that takes us into the creative menu, and we can go around and press different buttons. X is swap hands to swap your different keys, and the front triggers here are going to switch between your items. It'll show you some little cues on screen, so we can press LT to use this, which is to eat the golden apple, X to swap hands to put it into the other hand, B drops the item, which drops it one at once, and if we spam B it will drop loads, and etc. So it shows us the controls on screen, which is really nice. So how do we customize all the settings? A is to jump on controller, RT, which is the right trigger, is to break blocks, for an example. So how do we change all these settings? Because maybe we're getting a little bit tired of how everything's already pre-configured. So you'd press escape on your keyboard and go to options, and then when we go to controls, there will be controller controls here now, which is super interesting, okay? So what we can do is we can change the different movement binds to controller binds. And what we would do is we'd press the button, and then we press the button on the controller to change it. So if I just left click jump for an example, and then I press B on my controller, or let's just say we put it to Y on the controller, it'll put Y in that box now and it'll bind it to Y. If it's red, that's just because the key's already been used or the button's already been used, so you have to set it to something which is not assigned to anything. So I'm just going to set it back to A like that. So you can change all your binds like that. That's how you change all your key binds and controller binds, and how you set it up custom. And also you can just generally scroll through here and just look at all the keys, which actually tells you what everything is. So it shows you what all the controls are by default, so you can kind of figure out all the controls. For the most part, they should be the same as Bedrock or the console edition, but they might be a little bit different. It also shows you multiplayer controls, so the right arrow here is actually to open the chat on multiplayer, and the playlist would be the back button, which is here next to the Xbox key. So that's how to open up the playlist. And taking a screenshot would be D-pad down, which is this arrow, and D-pad up, which is here, would go into the first and third person mode, as you can see here. So that's how to switch perspectives with the up arrow, and then the left arrow is how to swap items. Then the right arrow opens up the chat so we can type in commands, and the down arrow takes the screenshot like we saw before. So if we press start, it will go into the options menu, and then we can use the arrows or the thumbsticks to scroll down. If we press Y, we can go into the mode in creative mode, and we can scroll through the items for an example. So to scroll down the item list, we would use down on this thumbstick or up on the right thumbstick, and the left thumbstick here would scroll through the items, and then we can press A or whatever other keys to actually get the items. So that's how to set up controllers on Minecraft Java Edition on PC. Now I'm sure there's some other stuff we can customize if you want to jump into specifics. For an example, you can go into controller options and then the options at the top, and you can change it from controller mode to touch screen and then back to keyboard and mouse, which changes all of these settings back here to keyboard and mouse in some cases, but we're going to leave it on controller. You can also change the rotation speed, so we can turn it down if it's too high or if it moves too fast, and we can do this with mouse speed. We can go on auto switch mode, which switches the mode to controller if it's connected, and we can turn things like auto jump on or off, fast block placing. These are just normal gameplay options which aren't specific to controller, and we can select which controller we want to use. So if we scroll through these, we can select all these different controllers, which are all red because these aren't detected. But if we go across, then we can find this X input gamepad, which is the one that's connected. So you can go through all the controller inputs. You can even connect a second controller if you want to play with two people. I don't know how that works, but that's pretty cool. You can change the controller type to Steam controller, Xbox, DualShock, Switch. Mess around with the dead zones for the analog sticks. We can invert all of the different rotations. We can change the virtual skins, which is, I'm pretty sure, like the on-screen keys which show you what to do, and we can enable and disable those from popping up. So there's a lot of things we can do in this config. There's a lot of different customizable things we can do with this, and for the most part it's just generally awesome. So that's how to use the LambdaControl mod on Minecraft Fabric ModLoader using the Fabric API, so you can use a controller on the Java edition for those of you guys who are coming from console. And then we can just use the console controller to do all the parkour in the different modes and just mess around. So now if I wanted to, I could just play on this parkour map with the controller and have a whole bunch of fun. So that's how to do that. Simple tutorial, actually pretty quick if you know what you're doing. If you need any help in the comments below, let me know. But apart from that, enjoy playing with a controller. Make sure to like the video and share it to any other friends who might be playing on controller and they've just come to PC and they want to know how to use the controller. So subscribe to the channel, and thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time in another Minecraft video.